Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Arts, Culture, and Thing in Between. I'm your host, Rose October. As usual, I tell you a little about arts, culture, and thing in between before proceeding. Arts, Culture, and Thing in Between is a program that features individuals who are gatekeepers of our arts and culture. They are not only performing artists, but also teachers, advocates, and scholars who focus on the preservation of the arts and culture. When arts is mentioned, it is being referred to as different art forms like visual, applied, or performing arts. Examples of visual arts are painting, photography, and filming. An example of applied arts would be like in architecture, as in designing and building or constructing a project. How about fashion designing? The way the fashion designer works with different types of patterns and fabrics. Jewelry designing. The way the jewelry designer works with materials such as wood, plastic, metal, silver, gold. Furniture designing. The way the furniture designer works with various types of woods, the ways the woods are cut and designed. Then there are performing arts. Examples would be music, theater, opera, drama, singing, stand up comedy, and of course, my first love, dance. When culture, the middle part of the program's name is mentioned, arts, culture, and thing in between. It generally means the way of life for a particular group of people. So for this program, it is inclusive to mean the various groups of individuals that embrace ways of life. In other words, looking at attitudes and behaviors. What is important to note, though, is that as culture is mentioned, I'm really looking at how practices are passed from one generation to another. Thing in between, the last part of the program's name, arts, culture, and thing in between, has to do with life's issues that affect the execution of the arts and cultural practices. This involves both positive and negative experiences that become part of the creative process.
He's short, much more chubby. I'm way taller than him. I'm like 2 feet over him.
Wow. And you're a 6 footer, right? Are you
Yes,
that yet? You are.
yes, sure,
Wow.
yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Anything, you mentioned that you were from South Rhineveld, East
East
Rhineveld,
London.
sorry, East Rhineveld, and you said, it was a balance between the lifestyle was a balance between ghetto and middle class. Now, obviously, there were some great things that happened in your life. I don't care um, whether there are downsides to life, and we all have that. You know, we need to acknowledge both sides, and I think that's what you're doing here when you say that it's a little bit of ghetto balanced with kind of middle class. What do you remember was the biggest learning moment for you being raised in East Rhineville? I know that might be a real white cast net that I'm throwing, but I'll still throw it anyways. What
The,
stayed with you?
it's when my parents migrated to the US and you know the struggles were in between my siblings, some working, some in school, you know, abiding and accepting the standard at that time because, your parents are there, you are here, and, you coping with whatever you have at that time, even if it's like sugar water or whatever, you're coping at that time and you're making it, you know, satisfactory.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, that would maintain, I would pass down to the kids, tell them that this is what we went through and you were lucky to be in this position now, and stuff.
It's funny you said that because there was a time, Ray, for me, when both of my parents were in the States also. And I remember it was my siblings who were raising us, especially my sister, who is the one older than I am. She was like the mother figure. She's always that way, Margaret. But I remember that it was my siblings who were raising us for a short period because my parents eventually took turns coming and going between Guyana and the States. And you mentioned this, and I really sit and reflect on how similar our experience have been. And that's one of the things I identify with a lot with guests who come onto this program because it's part of our culture.
Yeah, indeed.
And this is what this program is about. And many times we do not think about how our upbringing, the way that we were raised, whether it's by mommy and daddy and or granny or auntie or even neighbors or extended family members, how impactful those experiences are in shaping who we become today. I mean, you mentioned having a deep appreciation for life, so much so that you can share with your children.
Yeah,
Hey, we didn't have it this way. You guys have it good. And so, that's a
yeah,
Caribbean thing.
yeah,
Caribbean parents love to say, I didn't have it as good as you did. You know, love to. But then, parents want to make a different life for their children than the life that they have had themselves most of the time. Thanks for sharing
indeed.
that. Now, I want to ask you to lean into activities that you might have been a part of growing up that, or let's call it extracurricular activities for this discussion, that leaned into more of the arts. How was that experience for you if you had that in terms of as a child being involved in like artsy stuff?
Well, this all started since in nursery school, because nursery school I want to get into all the different choirs and the acting and whatever it comes up in nursery school. I'm always pushing myself up front.
Mhm.
So in nursery school, I went to Miss Thomas Nursery School. That's right in my neighborhood. Well, already in Sunday school, I was singing and dancing and, just trying out all that there is to try out there. So it all started back in nursery. Then I went up to the primary school and, it continued there and it continued to grow and grow and grow.
You are mentioning something that speaks to how communities are nurtured. And I think it was my dear colleague and friend, Paul Fraser, I think it was, who spoke about going to Miss Something or Mr. Something nursery school.
Hmm.
How many of those we had in our communities because there were individuals who really cared that
Yes,
they started their own school under their houses, right? So it's
yeah,
like a bottom house school or something like that, where we would look back on and fondly call the bottom house school. And we would call it, we would be going to Miss Thomas Nursery School or Mr. Charles Nursery School or something like that. Building blocks for our society. And I'm not sure that, and now I'm going to sound like one of them old folks now. No offense, old folks out there. I'm saying this fondly in terms of saying if we were to say that to the younger folks, that we went to Miss Thomas nursery or Mr. Thomas nursery, they're probably screwing up their faces like, what are you talking about?
Definitely.
But those were the foundational pieces that allowed us to grow and become who we are today. And it's not to say that by the time we got to the kindergarten and the, primary school and all of that, that those experiences did not flourish. But we have to give credit to that foundational piece, that teacher Thomas, Miss Thomas or Mr. Thomas or Mr. Charles or Miss Charles laid for us. Now, you mentioned getting into artsy stuff. Which of the artsy pieces was special for you as a child? Which one?
Dancing,
Dancing.
dancing.
How come?
You know, um, growing up watching the James Brown, Michael Jackson, when Michael Jackson just got out, to being in the Jackson Five, doing the Sugarfoot kind of twist
Uh-huh.
around the back and front. That used to catch my eyes all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I always find myself doing that, doing the Sugarfoot kind of stuff, doing the half split and stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's what got me going when, started out with dancing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Since
I thought, I'm sorry, go ahead.
since I was small, yes. That's what started me out.
I thought you would have said night fever, night fever. You know,
That
I
too,
think
but
John Travolta was
the
it for a lot of people. I thought you would have said John Travolta.
the John Travolta time, was after they come after, but that wasn't too flashy for me. John Travolta, yeah. I prefer the street, the kind of sugarfoot, kind of disco, kind of dancing, kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
But they not being they those folks have the different styling from uh John Travolta and James Brown is two whole
right.
different categories
Definitely.
of dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
And
was a
you're right.
fashion.
You're right. John Travolta, I mean, in Night Fever, there was a lot of lights going.
Yeah,
Yeah, the flashy stuff was happening. And I got so many friends who really thought that they were the Guyana, you know, John Travolta back in the day, because that was pretty crazy. That was a crazy time. But I like how you lead into old school, as in James Brown. And I'll remember to tag that as we get closer into talking about the
okay.
production that you're a part of. What is the most memorable experience that you've had culturally as a youngster?
That is a whole book and history to talk
One
about.
one
So
memory.
are we going in age category or which part
Oh
of that?
gosh, let's go teenage. Let's go teenage. Ray.
Okay, teenage.
Uh-huh.
Teenage, I was in primary school, just leaving primary school. And at that time, I wasn't much into dancing. I was more into choir, singing,
Uh-huh.
less dancing, and more into karate. So I put aside dancing at that time,
Uh-huh.
early teenage. But then after going up to like 16, 17, I went back into
Mhm.
dancing, and that's where I kicked it off.
Interesting. Now, in terms of singing, I'll sound a little judgmental here. And it could be because I don't know you that way.
Okay.
I would love to hear you sing.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Could you remember something that stuck with you in your days of singing when you were younger? And I understand that voice changed over the years. I understand that. Do you remember that something?
Primary school, we used to have our May Fair, and
Uh-huh.
we had the fashion shows and the concerts and the
Right.
singing and so and Christmas time too. So
Mm-hmm.
we I would always be either the backup or the lead singing the choir. this Christmas time every year growing up in primary school, we always sing this song, "We Three Kings of
Okay.
Orient Heart,"
Uh-huh.
and that song just stuck in my head. We used to mash that song up every Christmas time, and we used to look forward for that Christmas time to come around. Because every classroom got to do a little performance.
Right,
So
right, right,
and
right.
that used to be our song.
Now, were you the lead on this song, or were you chorus line in the chorus? What?
I'll lead all
Oh, yeah,
the
all the
yeah
singing, man. You gotta
all.
sing. Come on, give me a little bit. We three kings of Orient are.
Bearing gifts, we travel so far. Seas and fountain, more than mountain, follow the honor. Boom.
Oh, star of
Oh,
wonder, star.
see,
Imagine
you
that.
got it. You got it. Got it.
Hey, I'm no singer. I am no singer. I am not going to profess that. But I'm also chuckling to myself because of the craziness that happened on arts, culture, and singing between. We sing Christmas carols in the middle of the year, in the middle of summer, in at the end of July. We are singing Christmas
Yeah.
carols. You know, thanks for that. Let's take a quick look at what's to come in terms of the the program as in the production, because I just have a little slideshow talking about the production, and then we'll come back and continue
Okay.
our conversation. So, for those of you who've joined us late, I am chatting with one of the cast members of the upcoming production, La Façon Theatre, the musical. He is Raymond Barrow. So, Ray, we've been chatting about your crafts, as in the arts, and I want to continue our discussion about singing. And bear with me here for a bit. And the reason why I'm asking you to bear with me is because I met you through the production, the upcoming production that is going to be held on Saturday at 8 o'clock in Brooklyn, La Façon Theatre Musical. And you're doing more dancing than anything else. So, because I'm meeting you for the first time and you're dancing, I'm not thinking of you as a singer or a dramatist or anything else. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not, based on our discussion, obviously, right? But with that caveat, I wanted to just throw in a dynamic of this production that I have observed and know to be true. There is a lovely mix of cast for this upcoming production, and we're not going to talk too much about that yet, but I'm just bringing in reference here, right? There is a good mixture of professional and non-professional artists in this cast. And you just shared with us that you were raised singing. And I know that many of the cast members who are singing They have this camaraderie, this fraternity, if I may, in getting together for karaoke. Are you a karaoke singer? I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but are you into karaoke? Let me put it that way. Are you into karaoke?
Oh yes, mm, I started karaoke in 90 96 or 97, sometime around that. In 96 or 97, I started karaoke,
Mhm.
and I started DJing karaoke in 98.
Wow.
Yeah.
What got you into karaoke slash DJing karaoke? And then I'll ask you, what what does it take to DJ karaoke? Because I'm going to confess, it's the first time I heard that term, DJ karaoke. I never sat and thought that, yeah, when karaoke music is playing, the DJ has to know what he or she is doing. But tell us, how did you get into that?
Well, going to karaoke, I met a gentleman that they used to DJ karaoke called Robert, DJ Fishy.
Could you speak up a little bit?
And
I'm having difficulty hearing you.
yeah, I met a gentleman, DJ Fishy, going to karaoke. I selected a song by Elton John, uh, Daniel,
Okay.
and I wanted to dedicate this song to a young lady. So I asked DJ just to pause a bit so I can and give the request. So you heard my voice giving the request. Then I went through and sang the song. Then after he said, "You got a great voice. You should start doing some DJing." So
Oh,
really, yeah, must come around, early, like when I'm playing, and stuff. And that's how it all started. If he's playing out here Monday night, I would go 2 hours before or hours before we start, help him set up, hook up the system. I start trying out new songs that I never did before. So by the time the people came in, we started karaoke, and that's how I started karaoke DJing. All thanks to DJ 50.
nice, nice. Where is he now? Where's
He's
that
in
DJ?
Guyana.
Oh, he's in Guyana. So this started in Guyana?
Yes, Guyana.
So I missed the boat completely, I have to tell you. And I thought I used to run around and doing disco dancing back then. I guess what you're saying to me is that you really didn't run around enough, Rose. And please, people, run around in a good way. So you're saying that you were doing this since Guyana.
Yeah, yeah. I started in Guyana.
Nice. When did you go off on your own now and started doing DJ? DJ, starting your DJing for karaoke. That's one. And when did you do your first karaoke song? Was it the Danielle song?
Yes.
Oh, that was it. Okay,
Yeah.
so when after you've gotten this training, right? You've been mentored and coached. When did you go out on your own for the first time as a DJ of karaoke?
Well, after, him and I started working together, he started getting audit bookings. So there are 3 or 4 times a week, we'll be playing two different locations together
Uh-huh.
because of the bookings he have. And he would take, half of whatever the income is, and I'll take the other half because I was using all of his instruments.
Yeah.
So, and as from then, it's I never went on my own, like bought my own instruments and stuff.
Mhm.
So, we go along like for that like about 2 years, and then I migrated to Barbados.
Okay. Oh, so you spent some time in Barbados.
Oh
We'll
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that. So the being a part, so you became part of his infrastructure, so to speak, his business,
Yes,
because you were using his equipment to play out.
yes.
Got it. So let's talk about your migration to Barbados. How did that come about?
Oh, my eldest brother was living there for a while. He always wanted me to come up there, and so you can elevate yourself, and do other stuff, So in 99, I think 99, yes, 99, I migrated to Barbados for a few years.
And when you were in Barbados, what was happening for you culturally, artistically? Were you doing anything? Were you doing any DJing? Were you dancing? Were you singing? Were you involved in
I still
any of the
continue the
arts?
DJing because I met this Bajan DJ called Richard,
Hmm.
and we end up into the same boat as well as DJ Fishy, playing two and three places, per week, on two separate systems. So and then I migrated from there, to the US. And
No,
on during the day, I was, but karaoke is always at night, of course. And during the day, I went into construction.
no. With respect to the DJing piece and lining yourself up with another colleague who you were doing a similar thing like you'd done while you were in Guyana, how lucrative was it in Barbados as as a foreigner, as an immigrant? I'm not sure what your status was, but let's put it this way: as a foreigner, how lucrative was it for you as a Guyanese in Barbados, DJing?
Well, that's funny. There is a saying, if a Guyanese go to Rome overnight, he would be someone who born and grow in Rome. Like Dave Martin said, you go to New York and overnight you turn a New York Yankee.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, in Barbados, Guyanese catch that accent in the wink of an eye.
Wow.
And in some cases, you will think that you're speaking to a born Bajan.
So you have that? Is that what you're
That's not funny. It happens like, for some people quick, quick, quick. But in some areas where they have this deep accent of Bajan, you will know the difference.
okay? So you were able to
So
fall in. That's what you're saying.
yes, yes, quick, quick. I got that very easily.
And you think that helped?
Yes, it did. Of course it did.
Did, did. Now, I know that Oral Welchman, one of the producers of this show, spent some time in Barbados. Did you
Yes, he
bump
did.
into Oral there at any
Yes,
time? You did?
yes, yes, I
Tell
went.
me, and then Jackie Brathwaite, who's also Bajan, a designer on the production that we will talk about just now. Um, she's Bajan. Did you encounter Jackie there too in Barbados or not?
No, I did not encounter Jackie.
So
Well,
tell.
I knew Oro from back in Guyana because we used to compete
Oh, right,
in
right.
Guyana because Oro was in the city dancers and I were in the Crystalite dance group. So, we used to have clashes in competition. So, we knew one another from back then. But Oro was more into the modern kind of
Yeah, 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 yeah.
dancing.
It's
Um,
funny you say that though, because I knew Oral from back home, not into the kind of disco dance, pop dancing scene. I mean, I
mhm.
disco danced with my crazy brother Magic. Those folks who know us from back then, in the days of Michael Diabu, Straight D, what's the other guy? Oh gosh, I'm forgetting. Michael Straight D, and there was another one. And then there was Shaft on the other side. You
Michael
know,
Straight, we have Kiribuki,
yeah, Booty.
Linda,
Yes, 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 yes,
Michael
yes, yes.
Straight.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah.
There were those. So you encountered Oral again in
Yeah.
Barbados. Were you guys able to do any work together while you were in
No,
Barbados?
no,
You weren't able to.
no. I went to a show and I saw Oral performing at
Hmm.
that show and I met him after that and that was the only time I saw Oral
Hmm.
because Oral always on the shows down in the city there.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, what's most exciting for you about DJing?
Um, I love, like if I have, I'm seeing Dr. Rose for the first time.
Mhm.
I love the challenge of, she must not leave this karaoke tonight without trying one song.
So, as a karaoke DJ, you actually pick on people?
Yes, I peace-
Wow.
peacefully. So, I would go to you and said, you would like to sing a song? Just hearing your voice, I will find a song that's appropriate for you, and I think is very easy,
Why you
and
do that
and
to me? Why
bringing you out, bringing you out easy.
why you do that to me? Now tell me. So you know my voice, right?
Mhm.
It's gonna be funny, I'm warning you. You know my voice, right? What song you think I would be able to sing? Considering that you know I have no ear sound.
The first song I will give you to my head right now with your tone of voice,
Uh-huh.
the age group, knowing that you would know it
You don't know
properly.
my age group. Stop it.
I would give you "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow," the Cheryl.
Would you still love?
Tonight you're mine.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's painful, Ray. You know why? I am not an oldies girl. My friends would tell you in a minute. The worst thing that can happen to me and for me is I am entering a party and oldies music is playing. I'm ready to turn back. Now, on the other hand, I'm in that party having a great time and the DJ changes the set. Man, I'm cleaning those corners, right? But yeah, I know it's crazy. It's a crazy guy dynamic. But my friends who know me really well, they know I'm not really into all these. So they hear you say that, my voice will go good, but tonight, who is it again? Tell me. Don't stop it. Stop it. Go with me
You
here.
Still Love Me Tomorrow. Tonight you're mine.
Tonight
Complete.
you're mine completely.
See, you're right in the key there.
Da da
You
da
still
da
love-
da dee dee.
and you have the ear
Da
sound
da
too.
da 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 da.
Uh-huh.
Will you
Will you
still love
still love
me
me?
tomorrow?
The first time you come to karaoke, that's what I'm gonna get for you.
I ain't coming. I ain't coming if you. I am not coming if you're there. So let's take another look see at the flyer so that we can remind people of the purpose that you hear. And folks, we're getting there. We'll eventually work our way up to talking about Ray's role in the production, the upcoming production on Saturday called La Façon Theater, the musical. So let's take a quick look at the flyer and then we'll come back. So here we are. For those of you who joined us late, I am chatting with Ray Barrow, who is a cast member of La Façon Theater, the musical, and we've just been joined by Donna Powell, who is also a cast member of the upcoming production that you will be attending on Saturday, August 6th. More to come on that. So let's turn our attention to the theatrical production that I'm hinting to all the time. La Façon, the theater, the musical. Now, Donna Powell is a singer on this production. Um, Welcome to Arts, Culture, and Singing Between, Donna. Nice to have you. How are you? Welcome.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
I am good. I am good. So Ray and I we were talking about his upbringing, his involvement in the arts, and all of that. I wanted to give you a quick moment just to briefly tell us about how you started in the arts, and then we'll talk about your role in the upcoming production.
Okay. How I started was a few years ago when Lance and his sister Oral invited me to take part when we first did the same show, but a different variation to it is what I could remember.
Okay, so pause for a bit. Not get involved in the production, but get involved in the arts, period. In other words, think back about when you were a child. If you were in a choir, if you sang, if you danced, if you did drama, that kind of a thing. I'm not specifically asking you about your involvement in the production yet, but more about your upbringing. Were you in any way singing in a choir or something like that?
No.
Huh.
I never sung in a choir.
Have you done any singing before as a child growing up, even young adulthood? Were you trying out anything in drama, any of that?
No, maybe in church, but that was years ago.
What in church? Tell us about what happened in church.
I wasn't really in a choir, but sing and stuff as a young child, but I never really got into it per se.
So what?
I didn't get into it.
So what pushed you as an adult then? What pushed you as an adult to try out singing? Because Ray just had me singing, "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow?"
Yeah, I heard that part.
That ain't funny, Donna. That's not funny that you heard that part.
No, because I was trying to get in. I totally forgot about the meeting. And
oh, that's all right. But let's talk about if, as an adult, you got into singing.
How did I get into singing? I got into singing.
Do you remember the first time you sang anything?
And would you believe it was through karaoke?
Tell us about that.
It was a few years ago. What was I doing? It was one evening, and I was walking down Church Avenue, same church center, and I went in there. But at first, I didn't sing. I was just listening. It took me a little while. Well, what's his name? Encouraged me. He said, "Go and sing, try. It's not going to hurt you. Go and try." I'm trying to remember who was when he encouraged me that time. But anyway, probably will come back to me. He said, "Try." And that's how I end up singing. And I kept on going.
Do you remember the song you sang? The first song you sang? Do you remember that?
No, it's a few, well, probably an oldies.
Do you have a favorite karaoke song?
Two I have Hallelujah and
is it the Hallelujah?
Yeah, Hallelujah is one. I just sang it the other day.
All right, good. We'll come back to that because I'm sure we're gonna bring up karaoke again. Not to bust your brain.
Is it At Last?
Yeah, At Last is one. And
another one by hear the karaoke DJ chiming in.
Yeah, At Last, and there's another one by this gentleman here, but the name can't come to me right now.
Okay. I'm not gonna ask you to sing At Last. Because I might want to join you and then break up the whole baby party. Because I know At Last got a long, pull somewhere in there. Anyways, so Now let's talk about the production. You have a scene, a very important scene in the bar, and you started to tell us about how you got involved in this production. Tell us that, and then tell us about what your role in this production means to you and for you. So tell us, you started to tell us how you met Oral and Lawrence and got involved. So tell us more about that. And then
Oh,
tell us about your role, how you feel about it.
okay. I got involved with Lance and Oral through the karaoke because that's how I actually met them. That's how I met them actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, being around them as time go by, they said, Donna, would you like to join? Your voice seems, you know, and they wanted me to play the big mama part. And I said, okay, that's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we got into it.
So your role in the upcoming production on Saturday is that of Big Mama.
Yes.
How do you feel about that role?
Great. It suits me well.
Tell us a little bit about how it suits you well without giving away too much.
It has a lot to do with the attitude
Uh-huh.
in which I play. I
Uh-huh.
want to give away too much
Yeah.
because there are different sides to me when I play that character.
Now, those different sides that you play in character, are they kind of sort of real, like in your everyday life?
Yeah, to some extent, yes.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. And with playing that character, you're actually singing a song.
Yes.
You
I'm
want to
singing and I'm acting out at the same time.
sing and you're acting out.
Yeah, I'm dramatizing it as I sing.
Oh my goodness.
So the more I sing it, the more I get into that character and I do what I have to do.
Yeah. All right. I'll come back to that character and that singing and the song and all of that in a minute.
Okay.
Now, the experience for you of being a part of this production, how would you describe it?
It's great.
What it does for you?
Everything. It boosts my morale. It's fun. I get to see other shades of the production other than me. It's
And you've previously done, let me help you out here because I have an idea of where I want to hear before, like, and after, because you've done this piece before, right?
Yes, I have. Mm-hmm.
Where have you done it before?
I have done it in Guyana.
Oh, so for the record,
2015 and 2016.
So for the record, folks, Donna is not Guyanese. Tell us where you're from.
I am Jamaican born.
All right, we got a yardie here. We're talking about going to GT, folks. So,
but would you be surprised? A lot of people don't think I am, though. They always think I'm Guyanese.
Oh, I guess you have
up to this day.
You hide Guyanese too much. So you went to Guyana, you did this, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you did the same role.
Yes.
How different is the experience when you look at how you did it in Guyana with how you're doing it now? I guess, is there a difference?
A little bit of a difference because how I'm acting out going into the scene, it's not with all the girls singing and talking.
Okay.
It's a different setup.
It's a different setup. All right. That's a nice nugget you just put out there for folks who want to come and see what the girls.
It's a different setup.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know from my part, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, I'll come back and talk to you again about that. Ray, you also have a part in the what we're loosely calling the bar scene, right?
Yeah.
And like we have Donna as Big Mama in the bar scene, you are Big Spender in the bar scene. But before we talk about your role in the bar scene, what is it like for you being in this production?
I'm so excited. When Lance and
Speak up for
Oral,
me. Speak up for me, please.
I'm so excited when Lance and Oral called and said, "We need you to be a part of this production." I said, "Yes, first word." She said, "We're gonna meet on Thursday," which was a Tuesday. Yes, I was there first, waiting on Lance and Oral for a first meeting to let him explain to me what his production is going to be like. So I'm so excited. I can't wait for Saturday.
Now, what is being a part of this production doing for you as a person?
It is bringing me back to, those days of excitement in the art of performing live on stage, just to see the glow on person's face, that, 'cause some persons just look forward to shows like this to come out and sit down and relax and enjoy, sip a glass of wine or something and get their money's worth.
Now, dig deeper for me here. You're doing Big Spender, a very unique role here. You're also dancing in the production, and we'll talk about that, Ray. But especially for Big Spender, when you sit in that role, what are you feeling? What are you seeing when you sit in that role as Big Spender?
I feel rich. I feel like I'm in command.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I'm on the throne as a king.
Uh-huh.
I feel, I have multiple ladies I can choose, A, B, C. I feel up there.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. No, I'll ask both of you this, all that kind of sort of could gauge what your response will be. I'll ask both of you this, and it's about the production again. As I hinted to you, viewership, Ray is also dancing in this production. So, in addition to being very dramatizing because of the role that he's playing as a big spender, he's also dancing. So, this production has a significant amount of dancing, modeling, singing, um, you know, all in one. And Ray's also dancing. When you look at the dancing that you're doing now, Ray, in comparison to what you've done before, how would you describe it?
Well, I have to compare with the age group, because it's a whole different thing. So,
Yeah.
we can't leave that out at all. Because, what I could have done back then, the
Right.
things that, I can't do now. But whenever I'm performing, I'm I always feel, that I'm still that age group. So I try, to the 100% level of being, you know, up there and try to keep myself pace
Yeah.
with others.
Yeah. 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 What is your take on the types of choreographies that Oral Welchman has done for this production?
Well, as a choreographer, I know for sure it's hard, and you will have this taste because you didn't mess several choreographies. Um, you know, Knowing you have to do all these different choreographies and remember for you and the persons you teaching the dance for, because it may come tomorrow and said, I forgot that part, and you got to, go back and show them it again, and
Right,
then,
right, right,
every day you putting in a different piece into a different choreography.
right. But tell me
Doing
the
three, four.
quality, considering the storyline. That's where I want you to go.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, the
great. It's great.
choreography with respect to the storyline.
It's great. I'm comfortable with it. Oral knows what he's doing. He's doing his thing. It's great. It's comfortable for me.
Hmm. Hmm. Thanks for that. I want to ask Donna your thoughts about the storyline for this production.
Um,
The playwright is Lance North, and Lance has been doing this stuff like for eons, and I don't want to throw in my take. As you can see, I'm being biased right now because I'm kind of sort of smiling. So, but you tell us, Donna.
um, Lance is a genius. There's no other word that I could find. His knowledge, his concept of everything that he does, and that also goes for oral. They complement each other. They 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 work together on both sides of the coin, and they just bring out everything. Mm-hmm. They get their pieces together, and everything flows.
Yeah,
very good at what they do.
What do you think of the storyline, though, that Lance has come up with for this production?
It's great. It's great. Everything fits from the start of it to the ending. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Yeah, yeah.
If I may, I think that the storyline it's superb because it's always good to bring the history back to reality, because a lot of young folks, need to know, some of our history, and the whole storyline of the production can teach you a lot. And the persons even in the adulthood don't know, certain because they don't really pay attention to certain history, and it's good for, persons, to come along to the show and learn a little bit about the history of our ancestors.
I'm glad to hear you say that because I had a conversation with one of the cast members who shared with me that they were in a setting um, where the ad for the production was being played, and somebody within that setting actually came over to the person who's a cast member, came over with another friend, right? To ask the cast member to share a little bit about the production. And part of the ad has this piece to do with how I guess worshiping in a different way. And the person who walked over to the cast members the friend of the person who walked over with to the cast member, concluded that this was voodoo. And it really spoke to what you just said, Ray, in not knowing our culture, not knowing our history. And I remember saying to the cast member that I really hope that that person who deemed whatever they saw as voodoo, and it's far from that, people. I just wanted to say that. I hope that they really come. They really are convinced to come so that they can get that education that you just talked about, about our ancestry, about our culture, and who the peoples that have brought us to where we are today. Yep, yep. So let's take another peek of the flyer and come back and talk some more. for those of you who've joined us late, I am Rose October, chatting with two cast members of La Façon Theater, the musical that will be playing in Brooklyn on Saturday, this Saturday, August 6th. I can't believe that we are here already, folks. We were talking about this. Oy, oy, oy. Anyways, I'm sitting here with Ray, Barrow, and Donna Powell, who have integral parts in this production. Now, this production is going to be held at Grace Hall at 434 DeWitt Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, 11207. There is a $50 donation at the door for this production that is advertised as Broadway Comes to Brooklyn. There will be a complimentary glass of wine hosted by Bartanura and a cash beverage back. Now, one of the things that I hinted about earlier that I really like about this production, and I think your fellow cast members who were on last week, Cindy Gonzalez, Michelle Carr, and Jackie Brathwaite, along with the co-producers who were here 2 weeks ago, Lawrence North and Oral Retron, we've all agreed that a really wonderful aspect of this production is the mixture of professionals with non-professionals. I really love that because we bring each other along in such a process. Now, the production has 2 acts and 4 scenes. Now, we talked a little bit about your scene just now, Donna.
Yeah.
And your role, rather, more your role than the scene that you're in. And your role of Big Mama, you're singing a very sultry kind of piece. And it's called, I think, When You Go to Mama, is that it?
Yes.
Could you give us a couple of lines?
Mm.
Like a teaser, kind of?
If you want my gravy, pepper my ragu. Spice it up for me, and I'll do for you. A tip, a tip, a tip.
I love it. Just a little bit, just a little bit. And I know that Ray's getting jealous there. You know, Ray, in your big spender role, what do you think the audience is going to take away in your big spender role?
I think the first they're going to take away my appearance.
Okay.
Yeah, coming on.
Well, now I'm curious. What about your appearance? I mean, aren't you going to look like Ray? Is that what you're saying? You're going to look like something else, somebody else?
I'm going to look like the millionaire Ray.
Oh. So you're saying then you're bringing a millionaire's attitude, kind of, sort of?
Yes, that's the role.
Oh. So what does a millionaire look like? Because I know a lot of millionaires who go with t-shirts and jeans.
Not for a special night.
Oh. All right.
T-shirts and jeans is into a regular bar, but not for a special night.
Not for a special night. Okay.
This is a date dinner night.
This is what?
A date dinner night.
A date dinner night. Oh. Are you saying, and no, I'm prying. Are you saying there's going to be a woman on your side or something like that?
I'm going to be looking for one.
And you're going to be looking, can I be that person, please, Mr. Millionaire? Please be. Can I please be, that woman on your side that you're looking for? Wow. So there'll be other people on this production, and we'll talk a little bit about them later on. Let me ask both of you. Ray, what's your most favorite scene in all of this production? And I'll ask you the same thing, Donna.
My favorite scene is the church scene.
Ah, church. So, folks, I hope you paying attention. We went from bar to church now. Hello, right? We went from bar to church. What about the church scene makes it your favorite?
Because as I mentioned before, the history it portrays and telling you what our folks used to do back then. You know, it's a good thing for the younger folks to learn again. And the church scene has this smooth flow that you can just relax like you're watching a movie. It's really, it's got a nice atmosphere. The church scene is my favorite scene.
What about you, Donna? What's your most favorite of all of the production?
The same thing, the church scene.
But you got to tell us why. What's the reason?
It shows the history, the culture of our background from way back when, what our foreparents went through to pave the way for us right now.
I think now is a good time for me to paraphrase something that the playwright once North had said, and I mentioned it last week and I'll mention it again. And he said, La Façon, the musical, explores the impact of dance, music, and fashion of African Americans. The cast journeys through the lens of these three themes, paying attention to Black experience and the zeitgeist of the period. And we know that he's really done a good job in taking us back in time. We know there's a 70s scene also.
Yeah.
There's
right.
A 70s scene. What do you think would be the visual that the audience will get for the 70s scene? Ray and then Donna.
It's like taking you back. The 70s scene has three different parts.
What would the visual be for the audience?
It takes you back directly to the 70s of what it used to be like and having fun in the 70s, what the kind of fun that grown folks used to have with the bell bottom pants and the different kind of they dress like colorful shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
It take you back then.
Okay.
Again, it's this history you're learning, some style and stuff,
Donna, your thoughts on what the audience, thanks Ray, your thoughts on what the audience will see from the 70s.
For the audience,
what are they would from the 70s scene.
From the 70s scene, it brings back what life used to be like in the 70s. They're dancing, the way that they portray themselves, that's not the word I want to use. The dressing, the hairstyles, the platforms, that whole period of the 70s.
Yeah.
Who have not been around or lived at that time, they will actually see how it was in that time.
Yeah. And it really, I wanted to hear you guys share it because that's part of the journey that Lawrence has penned, the importance of music, the importance of dance, the importance of fashion, all of those things really coming together and a meeting at one place. And again, folks, you've gotten a little too much already. So we'll begin to throttle back on all this information that we're giving to you. Come out on Saturday at Grace Church Hall, 434 Lewis Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11207. There is a donation of $50 at the door, and you'll be receiving a complimentary glass of wine by Bartanura. And you'll have a wonderful evening. I promise. Now, let's take another quick peek at the flyer and come back and continue our discussion. here we are. For those of you joining us late, I'm chatting with two cast members of the upcoming production of a song, Theater the Musical. They are Donna Powell and Raymond Barrow. I just want to highlight what else is happening with this production. We will see joining raw talent, folks like Ervin Edwards, also known as Soflantis on the sax. You know what to expect already. Then there is Paul Hawker, aka Pablo G, bringing the poetry, a singer in his own right. Now, one of the things I like about especially Pablo G's presence in this production is that he is truly into wisdom sharing.
Yes.
You'll get that. And on the other hand, with Soflantis on sax, he'll be in his element plus some. So for those of you who are familiar with Soflantis, you know what he brings. And if I'm saying to you plus some, you know what it's going to be. For those of you who've never experienced Soflantis, okay, all I'm going to say, buckle up, buckle down, make sure that your seatbelts are fastened. It's going to be a really, really great ride. Then there are the professional tech team members behind the scenes. Malcolm Hall, who will be working on the lighting for this production. Kishore Sunarayan, who will be working with DJ Silvertrax on sound. And Clive Powell will be responsible for the stage managing of this production. There are two designers involved, Denise Jennings and Jackie Brathwaite. I must also mention, as a bullet point here, Bartanura and June Prasad of Bartanura, because they're responsible for the complimentary wine that will be present at this production. Now, this is exciting stuff. I don't know about you guys. This is exciting stuff. So I hope that by now, you know, you've seen the clips and ads and secured your tickets. Now, did you want to say something there, Ray?
I was just about to say all my costumes, everything is set and ready. I'm just waiting for Saturday.
Yeah. Well, we're 1 week out. Let's reflect on the journey. We're 1 week out. Tell us about this journey now that we're 1 week away, right? And I'm just giving, give or take one day, right? Because it's really 6 days away, right?
Yes.
6 days away. When you reflect on your journey in terms of rehearsing for this production, what could you share with us?
From the beginning of rehearsal to today's date, we're starting at the bottom of the step, and as the rehearsal prolong, everyone in this production keeps developing to that standard of which Oral and Lance is looking for. We're almost there. We're gonna be there exactly on show night. I think we should, you know, we're almost there, and we're the team. The team is bonding greatly. Everyone is listening to one another, giving advices, and that's what build that team spirit. We're there. We're not gonna wait for that night because I'm comfortable. And you know, sharing with others, you know, thoughts and as we see other performers, you know, we said, okay, yes, they're there.
I love it. I love it. What about you, Donna? When you reflect on your journey from when you started rehearsals to where you are now, and we're less than a week to production?
As you know, I came on board late, so from what I've seen since I've been there, everything is going as planned. We are, as I put it, we are a bonded group. We know what we have to do. We give our impressions of what we think or what we could do to make it much better than it is. And I can't wait for Saturday. It's going to be great.
Now, both of you are talking about readiness, your individual readiness and the readiness of the team you're talking about. If you were to reflect on the teamwork that you're talking about in terms of growth, let me lead you along here. In terms of growth, how would you look at the growth of the team with respect to the different aspects, the different acts, the different scenes of the production? I know that's a mouthful.
I first would capitalize on the non-professionals who are in the cast of stepping up to that level of comparing, you know, the different scenes, you know, who, you know, let's say person A and person B. Person A is not to that standard of person B, because person B is a professional. The person A is almost up there because, you know, they're confident and they know what they're doing. And what I love about the cast is the mix of professionals and non-professionals, and, you know, growing together. It's a great thing, and I compliment Lance and World for that.
Donna, your thoughts about
that? Raymond just said it all. The compliment of bringing the professionals, the non-professionals, blending it all together, you know, as it comes along, and we've been along because we're just a week away. It's good. Everything complements.
I am hoping that the audience is appreciative of this production being showcased in Brooklyn. And I really do not think it's far from the cry, based on what the ad says, that it's Broadway coming to Brooklyn. It would be an ultimate treat.
It is.
Go ahead, Ray.
And what I like, the theme of Broadway coming to Brooklyn, because in this part of Brooklyn, you know, you would not see such a production. And if we have the chance to do the performance on Broadway, is a whole different level. So we're bringing the performance of Broadway to the heart of Brooklyn. And it's for a small fee of what you would pay down in Broadway.
That is true.
And so we're in let's use the term, we're in the ghetto. So we bring in Broadway to Brooklyn, the heart of Brooklyn. So, you know, persons who cannot afford to go to Broadway, who like such a production, can come out and enjoy it.
Yeah, you know, I keep latching. I don't know about, and this is just me, Rose October. I don't know about Broadway coming to ghetto. Broadway's coming to Brooklyn. That's how I see it. Period. Yeah. Brooklyn, you know, and I am excited for that because there are many individuals, because of lifestyle, because of life, who can't get to the city to do something recreational. And some of it has to do with travel and other life's responsibilities. But the mere fact that it's going to be happening in the heart of Brooklyn, I think that might be Brownsville area, I'm not sure. or close to Brownsville. I think it's remarkable because some individuals will be able to walk over. It's just a
Yes.
matter of making the time and getting the funds to pay at the door, to pay that entrance fee, to make that donation of $50, to come in and experience it. And I could tell you, while you're sitting in there, you will not feel as though you are in Brooklyn. I could tell you that. I could tell you that because of it, I've been privy to the work. Any thoughts from you about what we're talking about, Donna?
No, we pretty much, as I would say, hit the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm.
It will be an experience for those that haven't actually gone to Broadway. They could see what it entails, what it's all about.
And to tag what both you and Ray are saying, you'll see everyday people on stage. You'll see
Right.
yourselves on stage. And it's going to be a very intimate setting where you can kind of sort of reach out and touch the performers. So it's going to be very, very like also, I would say. But let's take another peek at the flyer and then come back and we'll be wrapping this up. I was busy moving to the theme music. Da, 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 da. Yeah, folks, yes. Those of you who've joined us late, I am sitting with two cast members of the upcoming production, La Façon Theatre, the musical. They are Donna Powell and Raymond Barrow. And we're on the downside now of our talk today about this production. And just before we took a look at the flyer, I mentioned that you'll kind of sort of be in a fairy tale like setting because of the ambience, because of how the space will be transformed, because of what's going to be happening on stage in Brooklyn. I just want you to be prepared for that. But as I say that to you, I want to plug home. Please get there early. I once heard on time, being early is being on time. The doors open at 7 p.m. on Saturday, August 6th at 434 DeWitt's Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. The location is called Grace Hall. And showtime is 8 p.m. sharp. We're asking you to get there early because of the nature of the setting. If you come late, you will be interrupting whatever is happening on stage, and we will not allow that. So it means you'll have to wait for a bit in the lobby area until whatever is on stage is happening so that you don't distract what's going on, distract the performers on stage. So please, please, please make an effort to get there early, be in your seats before 8 o'clock so that we are starting at 8, so that we can up and running at 8 and everybody can enjoy this. I understand that life happens and sometimes things get in the way that may prevent you from getting there on time. But plan to get there early so that if something comes up, you'll still be early, if you know what I mean. So as we begin to really wind down here, I want to ask if there is anything specific that you, Donna, think that the audience will grasp as they leave the theater? What do you think as they're walking out the theater they'll be talking about?
They'll be talking about the whole production from start to finish.
What about it?
How their eyes were open to the different characters, especially the church scene and the scene with Cindy and all of them and Lance.
Mm-hmm.
To say, wow, that's how it was back in our time. And, then it flows into the 70s, how it was in the 70s, who weren't actually born at that time. They will actually see and know, they'll have an idea. Oh, this is how it happened. This is how people interacted and, stuff like that.
So you're saying, in addition to knowledge sharing,
Yes.
some folks will be able to relate to this and say, oh, yeah, I remember when I used to do this, or and I used to do that.
Yes.
Wear this.
Yes, those have been around. Oh, I remember the 70s. Oh, wow. That was the time.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. I could think of a couple of friends who would be saying, oh my gosh, this reminds me of me. When I
the 70s with the afros and the high platform shoes.
All right, enough already now, Miss Donna. Enough already.
Yeah, I'm giving away too much. Nip it.
Yep. Ray, what do you think the audience will be talking about as they are walking out of that theater-like space on Saturday?
I think, you will have different point of views because of the different scenes in the cast, because you may have person A may like scene 1 or 2 and person B may like 1 and 3. So, you'll have different aspects of views for the audience. But generally, I think the whole cast with the different uh, pieces coming together, they will tell themselves, and we should do a slight interview of some person who's coming out then to hear what the feedback is like.
Definitely.
But I think they would be overwhelmed with the difference that we bring together into one production, and most persons I can confident would look forward to something like that again in the heart of the play.
You know what's funny that you said that? One of my thoughts I've been having a lot lately, and I've shared this with both Lance and Ural, is that I really hope that we're able to do this again, because so much work has been done to produce one night's performance.
Yeah.
It feels as though there needs to be a second and a third, or maybe a fourth night. And I am very hopeful that it happens. We'll see. And one of the things I've been saying is that you all would be a very big group of depressed people when this is over, because you'll miss each other with the camaraderie and the teamwork and the getting together for rehearsals and the love that's shared amongst you all during this prep time. And again, Oral and Lance are to be commended for this, because I don't know if cast members have really taken a step back and paused at what is coming out of this aside from the production. Guess what? Relationships are being made and built and and maintained from this. It's going to be lifetime relationships, because this will be historical. This is historical for the cast. You'll never get a chance to work again in July of 2022 working on this production. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying it that way. And I want to echo some of the sentiments shared by Ray and Donna with respect to the quality of this production that will be received by the audience. I also want to echo that what has been said last week by the 3 cast members who stopped by: Michelle Carr, Cindy Gonzalez, and Jackie Broadway. They shared similar sentiments. The two co-producers who came a couple of weeks ago shared similar sentiments, and that's because they know of the hard work that they're putting into this production. So I want to urge you to really come out and support, you as in viewership, urge you to come out and support this one of a kind production that is being dubbed as Broadway Come to Brooklyn La Façon Theater, the musical. I just wanted to ask you too, Donna and then Ray, is there anything else you want to tell viewership before I wrap this up?
Just to come out and have a wonderful experience.
Good. Thank you. Ray, what about you?
I want to elaborate a bit on the time we started rehearsals for this one night, which is Saturday, back in March. And we're going 3, sometimes 4 nights a week for this one night, which is Saturday. So if we, put in that time from March to Saturday the 6th to show you what we're bringing, the dedication, the teamwork, the quality of the production you will have, because to do such long rehearsals from March to Saturday, for Saturday, can tell you the what word I should use?
The commitment.
The commitment and the dedication towards this one night, just to show you that we can bring Broadway to Brooklyn and you'll be comfortable and enjoy that one night.
Well said. Well said. Well said, Ray. Well said, Ray. So again, La Façon Theater, the musical, Saturday, August 6th at Grace Hall, located at 434 DeWitt's Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11207. There is a $50 donation at the door for this production that is being advertised as Broadway Comes to Brooklyn. There will be a complimentary glass of wine hosted by Donna and a cash beverage bar. Again, please come early. Have to really drill that home. The door opens at 7. Showtime is at 8. You're asked to be there early because your lateness will interrupt the performance and you may be asked to wait in the lobby until that scene that is in play is done. So on behalf of the choreographer, on behalf of the playwright first, I should say, choreographer and co-producers, Lawrence North and Oral Welchman, thank you to everyone who have lent and continue to lend their support to the success of this production. Please spread the word and bring along your friends and family. So now I turn to you, viewership, from me to you, and say, thank you for joining us as I thank my guests today, Ray, Barrow, and Donna Powell, for coming on and joining us on Arts, Culture, and Thing in Between. While I'm acknowledging, I must say thank you to some very important individuals. Claire Goring, who does the Well Done Flyer every week, Marcia Gordon, who's instrumental in working on the YouTube channel for the show, Yasuna Ryan for starting the building of the website, Dr. Raul Manzano, who has hand painted that logo, the rose, for this program. Another very important person, the technical engineer, Raul De Silva of RDE Pros. Raul De Silva was the person who started off with me doing this program a couple of years ago. I think it's going on 3 now. And he's passed the baton to the young creative who's behind the scenes right now, Sam Williams. So without these individuals who have unselfishly given of their time and service, Claire Marcia, Yash Manzano, Raul, and Sammy,
what can I say? I can't thank you enough. I appreciate you. To all of you who have been supportive, continue to be supportive of arts, culture, and thing in between, I thank you. We hope you're able to join us next Sunday from 3 to 5. And looking forward to you sharing more about this. Yes, like the page, the Facebook page, the YouTube page. Check out the website on roseoctober.com, and please help us spread the word about the work that Arts, Culture, and Sing in Between is doing. In the meantime, I would like to wish you a pleasant and productive week with safety all over in it. Until next time, bye for now.